like literally waking up, and I was looking at to find out if they identified the shooter, and like literally 5 minutes ago, prior to this, the shooter was identified, at least for me, and then I started seeing it. So a lot of this stuff has been coming out in the last, I don't know, hour or so. And so the guy's name is Thomas Matthew Crooks, ID'd as shooter, FBI says. So I wanted to read some of this stuff to you guys. I'm sorry, it looked like a hot mess, but oh shoot. I look like a hot mess. And that's just because it's morning, like too early in the damn morning. I haven't even turned the lights on yet, so just give me a second. Oh. Sorry, I'm not trying to smush you. I can't believe this happened. I've been on the phone. I was on the phone a lot last night, as you guys can imagine. My friends were there. They had a front row to all of this, and I don't wish this on anybody, I tell you that. I'm glad they're all okay. I'm glad everybody's okay. But there was a casualty there, and there's another person that's hanging on by a thread, by the way, an absolute thread. 3 people were hit, well, 4 people, including Trump. But, you know, people like me that attend these rallies, you know, just people that were coming to listen to a message. So I thought I'd read this to you. Law enforcement authorities have identified the man who made the assassination attempt on former President Trump at the rally in Pennsylvania on Saturday. The FBI said the shooter is now deceased and was identified as a 20-year-old. I tell you about these stinking 20-something-year-olds. They have screwed up a whole 2 generations of children in our school system. These kids are angry. They don't know how to deal with rejection. They've got all kinds of anxiety, emotional issues. You know, these kids are messed up. And I don't understand how this happened. It's these young 20-somethings that have a chip on their shoulder. And I don't get it. So as identified as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel, Pennsylvania, a motive not clear. The gunman was immediately neutralized by Secret Service Chief Communications Anthony, I can't pronounce his last name, had said. Bethel Park is predominantly white relative to a relative well-to-do city of southern reaches of greater Pittsburgh. The site of the rally, Butler, is about an hour's drive north of Pittsburgh. Pennsylvania voter records listed Thomas Crooks with the same address and birth date as a registered Republican, though it's not clear from the record when that was put in place. And that's the reason why they said when that's put in place, because they can change their things just if he knew he was going to do this. This was obviously premeditated. At a news conference Saturday night, law enforcement said the investigation was close to making positive identification of the shooter, but did not have identification on him. State Police Lieutenant Colonel George Bivens said. The shooter has been tentatively identified, he says. It's a matter of doing biometric confirmation. Investigators have also prioritized finding a motive and determining whether the shooter had accomplices, authorities says at the news conference. And let me just show you guys an image of this guy. I don't know if this guy is a true registered Republican, but who knows? There he is. That is the person that decided to lose his life over hate. Right there. I don't understand what's wrong with people this day and age. I really don't. It's sad. It's sad that we're here right now. It's sad that we have to go through this. It's sad that my friends had to witness that. You know, at the end of the day, honestly, if I didn't have Delilah, I would have been in that audience too. You know, we never know we work for those front rows. You know, sometimes we're offered VIP, priority, other, you know, accommodations, and those put us on the side and in the back and stuff. So some of us just decide to, you know, camp out and get on the front of the line so we can make it to the front row and be, you know, right in front of Donald Trump. And that's what they did. My friend Brick Suit was there. My friend Christina was there. My friend Mike was there. Another gal that I know, her name's Sandra, she was there. There were a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that we see from rally to rally that's just not associated with the front row Joes, that attend these rallies like we do. It's, when we're camping out in a parking spot, we're all chatting because we all recognize each other and all know each other. I don't really know outside of the front row Joes and the people in our group. I really don't remember a lot of names. It's more face recognition than it is names. But I'm glad everybody was okay. But it was, for our group at least, with everything that Donald Trump has done for us, it's a little more emotional, as you could probably imagine. I'm sure people are emotional about this, but for our group, it's just a little bit, has a little bit more of a personal layer for us. His team has always been very gracious to us. He knows us. He knows many of us by name. He doesn't know me by my first name, right? Bullhorn Betty. But that's what he sees on my shirt. But he knows us. And it's just all of his team from, his right-hand man all the way down, they pretty much know who we are. And they accommodate us very well when we're there. They're very kind to us. They know us from rally to rally. They usually, if we're there, they'll wait to a certain point and walk us even up to the front of the line. So it's just they've been very gracious to us. We have all become, great friends and stuff out there on these trails. And it's just so hard to hear this because these are people these are people you care about. Even the Secret Service men and women, they see us from rally to rally. They have families, They could have lost their life, but instead it was an innocent patron attendee, like an attendee to this rally, that went there to have a good time and listen to a great message and did nothing wrong and was literally, in all fairness, executed. And there's two more that are critically injured. And the person that this man was trying to take out got a graze. I don't believe this man is a true Republican. I don't know anybody that would willingly hurt somebody. This right here. This is pure evil. This is pure evil. But you know what? That's taught. At the end of the day, what we're dealing with is being taught to these 20-something years old. And it's too late because it's already been taught. I have never seen a more angry age group in this country in my life. They're angry. You know why? Because they were screwed. Let's be honest. How are they screwed? Half of these people have hundreds of $1,000s in debt for stuff that they can't even they can't make $20,000 or $30,000 for. They go to school and spend $100,000 and are baristas or however you say that at the freaking nearest Starbucks, living in mommy and daddy's house. That's why you don't put social justice warriors in our school system. This right here. We have more angry young. I mean, we talk about it all the time. The anxiety, the lack of being able to take rejection. Oh, it's and actually, to be honest with you, I think the one he was talking about got into a wreck and lost his life. But I'm not sure. The Vinny that I know that was JFK, there's a group out there that believes that JFK was never really assassinated or something like that. Sorry, it's a fudge morning. I don't know what else to say. I do believe that Trump is going to go to the convention. Nothing's going to stop that man. And I truly believe he's not going to be a victim. He's a survivor. So I don't foresee this being the last rally. Will different protocols be put in place? I think so. I think so. This was very scary for me. I almost cried on because, you know, when I start talking about President Trump and about him being part of the, you know, for the American people, I don't know of any president that goes out of his way to make the average Joe feel important. And he does. When we go to rallies for any other politician, they put their donors up front. They put them in this VIP section. They wine and dine them. You get a high from backstage from your politician while he goes around and shakes all of the hands of his donors. Meanwhile, you're his voter, and you get a nice little wave. You're not that important to that man. All he wants you for is a vote. Donald Trump is much different. And I understand many people don't go to politics, they're not into politics and stuff like that. But that man will literally walk around his donors to come to the people that are there for him and walk around there and shake their hands. And that is something I have never seen in politics ever. Never heard about it, never seen it. When he talks to you, he asks you what your problems are. He listens and he tries to make changes. Right now, he's trying no tax on tips, right? He hears the middle class. He hears these people that are working all these jobs in the service industry and having to pay through the nose for their tips. That's going to help millions of people across this country. I've never heard any politician talk about saving the American people real money or not having them pay the taxes that everybody else wants them to pay, or trying to find ways that we can run this country and put more money back in people's pockets. It really affects him whenever there is somebody dies from a drug overdose because of our open borders and stuff coming through, or the fact that our national security is at risk because of that open border. I don't know. There's some good fudge. Look at everything Trump has been through. Yeah. And you can't tell me that if they're fighting this damn hard to try to shut him down, that he doesn't have what it takes. I mean, they're obviously scared of something. I have chocolate. First, I wake up. I don't even have coffee. Like, I literally woke up, got on here. I mean, I haven't even got the crust on my. You guys have never seen me this rough, okay? Usually I brush my hair. My hair's not even brushed. Like, I brush my teeth, but that's because I woke her up at 3:30 this morning to go take a whiz, and so when I wake up, I brush my teeth. It's an ish thing for me. I can't stand that mouth. I haven't been to sleep yet. I fell asleep, but I woke up, and I'm just still in shock, really, because I keep watching that over and over again, and it looks like the only thing that saved President Trump is he turned his head right at the right moment. He would have been shot in the head. He turned his head at the right moment. And when he did turn his head, it grazed him. That one went right in the back of his head. He turned his head just right. There's a hole. I saw a hole in his suit. He's saying, I read his message on Truth Social, and he said he only got his ear grazed. But I saw like a perfect circle in his suit. And when it first came out, I posted it. I'm like, is that right? And then I saw the Benny show on, and he was showing the footage, and so I scrolled into it, and sure enough, there's this perfect circle. But one thing it didn't have, it looked like a perfect circle, not like a tear or anything. Like I didn't see any threading, and quite frankly, it just looked like a circle. So I don't know if he got hit in the side or not. Now that I'm thinking about it, but I did post it. It looks like it is definitely a circle in his like a hole in his suit, and I can't imagine a hole being in his suit for any other purpose. But I'm not sure. He definitely it definitely grazed his ear. You can see his ear grazed. Somebody was up trying to say, oh, it was the teleprompter. The glass from the teleprompter got him. And I'm thinking, that this is on this side of his head. He was turning this way. The teleprompter's over here. There's no way that that's fragments from a teleprompter. And I'm just so sick of all of the misinformation about this. Do you know, CNN wouldn't even call it an assassination attempt? What the hell else do you call it? A man's on the roof with a rifle pointed at President Trump. I don't know what you call that. These people and they're freaking these news stations aren't news anymore. They're propaganda. I can't believe MSNBC said may have been an assassination attempt, and I'm like, you must. I was busy on Twitter last night. That's all I gotta say. And I'm sitting there saying, man, I bet you were choking to have to write that, weren't you? And it's not May. It was. Absolutely was an attempt on his life. And I find it awfully funny that it's after some pretty powerful rhetoric from Biden about bullseyes. Did he get hit lower, but he had a bulletproof vest on? I know he wears a bulletproof vest. Everybody keeps saying he's not wearing a bulletproof vest. I've never known Donald Trump not to wear a bulletproof vest. The reason why he unbuttons his shirt is because in his jacket is because it's too tight with his bulletproof vest on. I've never known Trump to walk out of his house without a bulletproof vest. I don't know where people are getting this from. Honestly. The only time I think he's not with a bulletproof vest on, and I don't even know if that's the case, is when he's on the greens. I'm sure he doesn't wear it around his house. As a matter of fact, I don't know. He had to have had it even when we went to Mar-a-Lago, because we didn't have to go through security. We had to go through backgrounds, but we didn't have to go through security. I was on Facebook educating dummies. Yeah. It's just upsetting to me because, in all honesty, one thing this person did was, I mean, there's anybody that was on the fence has put a line in the sand. I mean, most people out here are normal. Okay, they don't think of politics. They don't, they just want to live their life. They're trying to live within this. They keep struggling, but they don't realize why they're struggling. Well, it's because of your politicians. And so long story short, everybody's just kind of living their life. Nobody really likes politics, right? Nobody really enjoys the game of politics. None of us really have the palate for it. Normal people. And the reason why I'm talking like we is because I used to be everybody else, right? Just living life, not really giving it, not really thinking anything about the government, okay? Why can't I pay this? Why can't I do that? Why can't I get a better job? Why can't I afford more, more of the home? There's a time and a place when I kind of changed, and it was right about 2015. I was in real estate. I was in real estate in 2015, working under somebody and assisting. And they were very, very political, which kind of brought me into the politics. I think it was about 2012, but brought me into the politics. But it was when Donald Trump was running for office, and I remember saying, because one thing I hate about politicians is what do they really bring to the table? What are their accolades? They've got none. Most of these people have been career politicians and in politics their whole life, and really don't have any life experience. None. No life experience. Trump has run companies. One thing I found out when I went to college in paralegal, the United States is incorporated. Our cities are incorporated. Our counties are incorporated. I didn't know this. I just thought ignorance. I didn't know that they're incorporated. They're an entity, okay? What does that mean? Well, Donald Trump runs corporations. He runs incorporations. Lots of them. He runs ventures and small businesses and all types of things are under these umbrellas that he supports and stuff like that. So when he came down, I remember thinking, well, he is a businessman and the United States is a business. So that's the man for the job, right? He definitely has a huge resume and a lot of life experience. What these career politicians don't have. And then as I started getting into it and started seeing them fight him so hard, I knew they were onto something. Because we deal with it here, right? When we're fought really, really hard, we know we're onto something. And it just happens to be true crime. But why can't that be applied to other areas? When they started attacking him this viciously, I knew that they were scared. They were very scared. And then whenever he won, they could not believe he had won, and they tried everything they could to destroy this man, destroy his family, destroy his reputation. When that didn't work, they started going after his money, keeping him in court, trying to have him arrested, which they did successfully. Then they had all these trials. They had impeachments. This man has been through absolute hell and back. And then when all of that fails, an assassination attempt. It's the rhetoric. It's the rhetoric. All you have to do is incite your base. That's all you got to do. Incite the base. It's very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. And people get hurt. And even if this was not which we can all say that this was probably not a professional hit. Okay? Damn close. Definitely not a professional. Because a professional would have had a rifle. They would have had one shot. And they would have walked away. So we definitely know that this was not a professional just by the amount of bullets that had to be discharged. But the bottom line is this was an angry 20-something-year-old yet again. Yet again. Hate is taught. Hate is taught. No, he did not. And you know what, Hargett? If you have been reading anything about Jan 6, you better read a little further. Because there was BLM in there. We've got them on tape. We've got police officers removing barricades and asking people to go in, just go on in. And many of those people were arrested. There's a lot that goes on with Jan 6 that they have kept undercover, and that's why they kept those people in prison for so long without proper attorneys, nothing normal is going on with the Jan 6 indictments. These are political prisoners, let's face it. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, when has anybody ever been in jail this long without a conviction? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And until the country is tired of listening to the lies and understand what's going on here, we do have political prisoners right here on our soil. And those political prisoners are Jan 6. Were there some bad actors there? Yeah. Why? Because they were incited. Who incited them? The people that started it. Who were they? That's the question we need to be asking. Some people have mob mentality, right? So they see all this stuff going on and they need to go look at what's going on, and then they get emotionally involved. It's the human nature. Who started it? Who started breaching that building? Who were the people that truly started breaching that building? Those are the questions we need to ask. Because you'll find out that there was a computer missing in that breach. I find that suspect. I find that suspect. Or did you guys forget about the computer that disappeared? Just saying. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. So, no, I don't think as a matter of fact, he's always been peaceful. He's always talked about being peacefully walking. It's protesting. You know, protesters are in most cases, until we got into the protesting of the Summer of Love type of crap, was mostly peaceful. People, you know, raising their voice, raising their signs, you know, protesting is not violent. They turned it into violence and tried to say that their disgusting and violent thuggery behavior was protesting. That's not protesting. The lies from the media saying it's really mostly peaceful out here while a car on fire is rolling behind him. I have never in my life seen some of the nonsense going on in this country for years. And literally they lie to your face as the evidence is going behind him. The propaganda. You know why I do what I do on this platform? Is because I can't stand mainstream media. They lie to your face. They will do anything for a narrative if it lines their pocket. I don't trust them, just like I don't trust our federal government. And it scares the crap out of me that it's our federal government that's teaching our children. And look what we're getting out of it. A lot of angry 20-something-year-olds that want to shoot and hurt people. And the other ones that don't want to shoot and hurt people are so full of anxiety, they have to have freaking counselors and medication. This is not the America I grew up in. At all. You can say this or say that, but we're all seeing it. And nobody can deny it. Not one person. We have all been talking about this thing in the air and how we feel like it's our last days. It doesn't have to be. But there's too much damn hate. We exhibit it here on these streets. We exhibit it out there in the real streets. We need more love and a lot less hate in this country. And we need politicians that don't spew venom and lies for a vote and put a target on an innocent man's back for no good purpose than, oh, you're losing. Wah. Wah. I want to know when this boy became a Republican, because he's only 20 years old. How long has he been planning this? I'd like to know. He seemed highly disturbed. Why didn't anybody see flags? Where's his family? Why isn't it family? You cannot tell me that these people, that these kids' families don't know there's something wrong going on with their kid. If they don't know that there's something going on with their kid, then they're absent parents. Kids don't behave. Kids don't normally hide. If you have a kid that's hiding in their bedroom all day, let me give you a news flash. Children don't do that. Take their electronics away and kick them out the door. Tell them to go play in dirt. Tell them to go play in dirt. It's time for parents in here, especially ones that have young kids, parental controls. Parental controls. And start knowing what your child's being taught in school. Start asking them what their teachers are saying to them. That's not in the book. Right? It's time to be parents again. It's time to find out. This is a 20-something-year-old. You can't tell me this kid at 20-something did not have social problems long before this, that his family was well aware of. I'm sorry. His dad is a mental health doctor. Wow. Well, I would say he's probably not very good at his job. Just saying. Sorry, just throwing that out there if that's true. Parents need to be more involved and know what's going on with their kids. Yes. 20 years old. He was 20 years old. $20 years old and gone, and tried to execute a freaking president. She ain't really happy with me at the moment. She's like, she won't let me sleep. She's like, I pottied. Usually when we potty, we go back to bed. And I'm not going back to bed. She's covering her face. She doesn't even want to. She doesn't want to be up. She really doesn't want to be up. She wants to go back to bed. She's been wanting me to go back to bed since I woke her up to go potty. She's like, don't make me go pee. But I know she needs to go pee. And you know what? At 3:30 in the morning, I never have to fuss with her to potty, right? She literally she has to pee so bad at 3:30 in the morning. I know she does, whether she wants to go out there or not. I literally put her down on the ground and she pees, you know? So, no, I'm expressing my opinion. I don't think it's right to blame the Democrats. No, I'm not. I'm blaming the rhetoric. And you know what? At the end of the day, Biden did make the statements that he made. And nobody can take that away. You know? So, I know it's a tough pill to swallow. But at the end of the day, truth is truth, whether it hurts or not. There is a dangerous rhetoric going on here. We know damn well that they've been having social justice warriors in our classrooms instead of teachers. These are things that you guys cannot dispute. They bragged about it for years, and look at our children. They're angry. We cannot dispute that. The last several gun violence things were from 20-something-year-olds with guns. I mean, what do you think it is? Who's in control? I understand nobody wants to have these conversations and nobody wants to blame anything. Both sides my ass. Both sides my ass. Nobody has ever. You know what? It's the Democrats that were sitting there saying, if you see somebody wearing a Trump shirt, you get in their face. Right? Miss Maxine Waters? Isn't she a Democrat? No? How many times have Republicans gone out to eat and wore a MAGA shirt and got spit on, got drinks thrown at them? That's not the left? That's not the Democrats? Because I never heard that the other way. But when things change, you're like, oh, don't do this, right? How about the mask issue, right? When we were condemned for not wearing a mask. But when they told us to lift the mask, it was like, but don't be mean to the people that choose to still wear their mask. Right? It's the goalpost constantly moving. And it's whenever anybody starts saying something, it's like, well, we have to blame both parties. No, we don't. No, we don't. Because you know what? I've tried to treat everybody with respect, even when I wasn't treated with respect. And you know what? You know who I wasn't treated with respect from? If you want me to be honest, even though I treated them with respect, it was Democrats. And you know why they did? They treated me that? Because I had MAGA on my shirt or I had MAGA on my hat. Do you think I treated them that way because they had Biden on theirs? I was told that I was intolerant while they were being intolerant. So could this be on both sides? I would just like receipts for the other side is all. That's all. Because I don't recall any Republican, throwing crap on a Biden supporter at a Biden rally. Well, Jay, just because you say you're a Republican, it doesn't mean nothing for me. Trump didn't do any of this. If he has some tweets that hurt your feelings, so what? It's tweets. It's tweets. I've watched cities be burnt down. Okay? And there wasn't one Republican burning them down. I just, I don't know, yeah, maybe a little bit of, this and that back and forth in the House or the Senate, but I'm talking about in our communities. How about Portland? I watched a man in black screaming Antifa, a little old lady walking her dog, and he got in her face and told her to go back in her house, making a whole entire community fear this man as he's walking up, and police won't do anything. What about that? I could list and go on and not just say vaguely. Not just vaguely say, it's both sides. I can give literally examples, very specific examples. What examples can you guys give like that? And I'm speaking for both. Who was it, Jay, that says she's a Republican? I'm asking you, what examples can you give like that? You say you're a Republican, right? When have we acted like that? Tell me one Republican protest that burnt down a frickin' police building. Oh, so words. So Mary Jenner says, what about the shit that comes out of Marjorie Taylor Greene's mouth? So you're talking about words. What are you talking about? What specific words has that woman said that would literally incite somebody to go kill someone? I mean, because you don't like what she says about this country or about a policy or about this? That incites you? That you'd pick up a gun and go kill someone? They've been telling people in their, on TV that this guy is a racist, a homophobe, hurts women. I mean, you're talking about serious rhetoric. We're not talking about, for freaking 8 years, they made this guy look like a white supremacist that wants to execute all the black people in the country. You don't think that's going to piss some people off or make somebody want to hurt somebody? I mean, come on. Hitler. Yeah. They were comparing him to some of the most horrific people. You don't think somebody with problems upstairs? You don't hear none of that coming from Marjorie Taylor Greene. Come on. Come on, guys. Stop. Stop. The denial is over. Okay? Just stop. Enough's enough with that bull. That nobody, I have never heard anybody say that. I'm just stop with that nonsense. That's absolutely, unless you can produce some receipts. I can produce literally, I've got 8 years of them. Please, Betty, we can have this conversation whenever you want. It doesn't. We're having it now. We're having this conversation now. Somebody's saying about the garbage coming out of Mark. Okay, what garbage has Marjorie Taylor Greene that painted somebody like they have painted Trump? I'm just curious. This is a man that actually I got to tell you, when Trump was in office, it's the first time I was able to breathe, right? I had a little bit of money in the savings account. I had things were going good. Gas prices were low. Everything was running like a well-oiled machine. Finally. Hadn't seen that in a decade. And then everybody wants to be so offended, right? And so entitled in this country. So offended and so entitled. And so they just had to have this because they just knew this was going to be such a better road because they were told because of all that propaganda from those mainstream media, right? Biden's going to do better. Biden's got your back. And you know what he did? He stole from every last one of us. Him and his regime have broke America. Tell me if you got more money in your pocket today. I damn sure don't. I don't feel near as safe as I used to. We've got illegals R-ing and killing our kids. The rest of them are getting hot packages of fent. I mean, come on. Let's talk about it. People can't even afford the freaking. I got grandmas around the corner that have to make the decision of their medication or eating. Come on. Enough's enough with the nonsense. This is bad, guys. They tried to execute a freaking president. And yes, they incited their base to do it. So, I don't know. But you can say I'm full of shit. You know what? When you have to say insults and see, I've been telling you facts. And you know what you say? Instead of coming back with facts, you know what you did? You said I'm full of shit with no receipts. But I just produced a whole bunch of them because everybody, when I said those are things that happened in the news that everybody can identify with. You know? But a man that I have a lot of respect for and care greatly about was almost executed. And a fellow patriot was executed. Do you know if it's true that the kid was registered? They're saying he was. I don't know for how long. He's only 20 years old. Sounds like he probably just went and registered. You know? And if that's the case, then it might have been for purposes of this. I'm curious. We'll find out. You know? We'll find out if he changed his political party. We'll find out when he, became a Republican, so to speak. My oldest son, Wing Ray, he signs his Army contract because Biden is in office. Wow. Well, we know who the shooter is. And he's awfully young. That's all I gotta say. He's awfully young. He's still a kid. He's 20 years old. Probably not even booted out of the family nest yet. I just can't. We've got a lot of angry kids, folks. A lot of angry kids that need counseling and probably deprogramming, if you had to ask me. I don't know what is wrong with these children. These 20-somethings are angry. We see it every day. All these shootings, mass shootings, 20-something-year-olds. They're angry. And we can keep trying to blame each other. And you can keep saying I'm full of shit. Doesn't really matter. We still have a problem, whether you don't want to believe it or not. You can go stick your head in the sand like an ostrich. I did it for many years myself. You know, sometimes it's easier just to stick your head in the sand. But I can't do that anymore. And we got some serious problems here, so I don't know what to do. I'm just, I want Trump to be safe. That's really my only concern, is that Trump is safe. I know he's stubborn as a mule, and he's going to do more rallies. I just pray to God he goes inside, because at the end of the day, I love going to the rallies, but I love my president more, and I wanted to see him be president. And I want him living. I don't want this on anybody. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. I don't like Biden or his politics or his policies or anything about him, quite frankly. I really don't. But you would never hear me say anything more than he needs to be fired or removed from office or, normal stuff. I mean, I would never want harm to him, I would never, ever, ever want harm to him. I wouldn't want harm to anybody. Nobody deserves. I mean, it's politics. It's words. I mean, granted, we have to deal with the consequences of our politics, but it's not life-threatening for many of us, And for the politicians, it's becoming more and more life-threatening because people feel that they have a right to control another person. And when they can't control them, they get angry. Well, you know what? We're all free to make our own decisions. The only people you can control is yourself, right? And we're all struggling. Trust me, our entire government, we're just a number two. I can promise you the only person that I've ever never felt like a number two was Donald Trump. He's one of the wealthiest people, yet he still knows what it costs to get a gallon of milk, It just, I don't know. Something about him. He resonated with me when I looked at him. And you know what? People are like, he's so mean or this, that, and the other. Listen, sometimes the best bosses are assholes, right? We want results, okay? I don't need a guy being nice to me. I don't give a rat's ass. I want results. I want money, and I want the American dream, right? I want the American dream for me. I want the American dream for my neighbor. I want a safe place to live. I want a good job to have. I want money. I want to be able to have a savings account. If I choose to stay home to take care of kids or a puppy, I can. For most of us, we just want to be sure that we can get to work, come home, pay our bills, and have some money to do some things with our children. And put some money away for retirement. We don't want to be a slave where we're working all the time and don't even get an opportunity to enjoy our family or any of the stuff we have. I have to think that 90% of America's like that. At the end of the day, I don't think anybody gives a damn whether it's an R or a D, as long as those things are accomplished. The problem is they ain't being accomplished one way. And these people keep getting richer and keep getting more and more properties and more all this and more that. And I'm thinking, how in the hell are they getting money when they're making $120,000 a year? How are they living like this? And then you start following the money. And you start looking under the hood. And you get a clear understanding. Those MFers are freaking robbing us blind and padding their freaking pockets with our money. While we're working our asses off and staying away from our families. That's what's happening. And I'm sick of it. And I want to take that back. And you know what? At the end of the day, Donald Trump understands that. And he's trying like hell to stop it. And I got to tell you, he almost lost his life over it yesterday. He's trying to stop it. They're crooks. They're robbing us blind. They don't give a rat's ass about us. They'll sell us to China. They'll sell us to Mexico. They'll sell us to Venezuela. They don't give a rat's ass. As long as their pads are. Why do you think they're trying to make us? I'm telling you, if we keep going down this path, none of us are going to own property. We're going to be property. Trust me. It's getting serious, but I'm telling you, we're trying to get it to stop. But people need to understand what is going on, and I'm telling you, they are robbing us blind. And if we don't pay, they send the IRS knocking at our door. So they were told to hate Trump. They were. They were. I don't hate Biden. I just think he doesn't have what it takes, and clearly does not, because let's face it, we're worse off now than we have ever been. Ever, ever, ever. And he's trying to buy votes by giving debt forgiveness and, illegals a right to stay here. He's literally trying to buy votes just to stay in office. It's sad. He couldn't even form... Did you guys hear his speech last night? He couldn't even form a freaking complete sentence yesterday. I couldn't understand one thing he was saying. His state of whatever address that he was trying to... It was a mumbling mess. Like, I'm listening to it, I'm like, what the... Seriously. And if you don't believe me, go look at it. He was absolutely not formulating one complete sentence. He is the President of the United States and could not form a freaking sentence last night. He has seriously got some major issues, folks. You should. I'm like, you've got to. I mean, it was driving me nuts. It didn't last very long. He couldn't formulate sentences. Later at night, I hear when you have dementia and stuff like that, at night you get worse. And they were forcing him to go on, and he literally could not formulate a freaking sentence, a full sentence. He started saying this, then he said this, then he said this, and I'm like, what the flip is this? What does it say? Mary, you should want the wall you and your feeling. Why is it, Mary? If you don't like it here, I mean, like your boy has major oh, good gracious, this lady's fucked up. Okay, bye. I'm done. Like, don't come here. I really could care less. Like, I'll let you rant for a little bit to have your word and stuff, but when you start saying that Trump has. That man is sharp, okay? Now, I worry about my stuff. I forget crap all. That man is sharp. He is on it. Sharp. I tell you what, when he can wing it, I gotta tell you, that man needs a teleprompter only because people don't want him to offend anybody, right? Because he's just like me. I'll tell you to get a hike, That's just how I am. I'm a blunt person. He's a very blunt person. I love blunt people, okay? I love blunt people that just say it like it is, gets it out there. Like my mom, sometimes God bless her, I love her to death, but sometimes she drives me nuts, okay? She taps on eggshells sometimes, like she's trying to say something. Mom, what are you trying? Quit, just tell me what you're trying to tell me. Oh, we got some trolls in here. You guys waited 20 minutes to come in here to freaking do that. You guys are idiots. But you know what? I expected, right? We got a lot of them lately. Blunt, down to earth. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Said he hated Trump in a video, has the same name but wrong person. I pulled that off of that thumbnail's like off of Fox News. Now it looks like it's all over. No, it wasn't buffering. I was checking something out. No, what it does is when I go to look at something, it pauses. I sometimes think that you guys could hear me, but I guess you guys can't even hear me. But somebody said that was the wrong photo. It's on time. It's the only photo that's out there. So, I don't know. I remember seeing a photo. Somebody put a photo of a soccer player. I'm like, this is Trump's shooter. And I'm like, that didn't look like the image I saw up on that roof. Nah, she's not sure. She's actually passed out right now. No, I was going over because somebody wrote in the chat that um, that the I had the wrong picture of the guy, that it's the right name but the wrong photo. And I said, and I went back to check to see where I got that photo from, and it's the one that's being used. If you go and put his name in, you'll see all the articles that are using that photo. So I just pulled the photo. But if it's wrong, then I'll have to check it. But that's the only one that's out that I can see. Now, there are some really clear pictures of him from below. Yeah. So good morning, everyone. I'm just here. I just found out about this guy, and we're just talking. And I know that nobody likes to have these conversations. Nobody likes politics, right? It's a shitty thing, you know, that we all deal with in it. And it's become a wedge issue. I mean, we should. There was one time when you could have your family was peppered. You know, it was speckled. Some were Democrats, some were Republicans. You know, if you guys had debates on some of the issues and listen to the debates, like we would do that as a family. I mean, yeah, the presidential debates used to be something we always looked forward to every year. Now it's just become this. It's been awful. Families have been divided over this, and you can't tell me that is not inciting these young folks. These teachers were telling these, and I've got proof of all of this, telling their students, when you go home Christmas vacation, you fight for, you do this, giving them talking points at the frickin' table to turn their family over to vote for, what was it, Hillary Clinton at the time? And I'm just like, these are teachers doing this? You guys have no clue what was going on. These kids are angry. These kids are really, really angry, guys. And we've got to start acknowledging this and finding out what resources we can get to them. I mean, it did seal his deal. I mean, he was already popular after being wrongly convicted. Like, that was anybody that has any type of 101 knowledge of the law knew that was a hot mess express in New York. Other people, a lot of people are very ignorant to the law, so they see this thing and they think, oh, well, he's convicted. No, they did it all wrong. They did it all wrong. And so I think that, and then they were literally about to put Trump in jail. I knew that he would be executed if he went to that jail. I knew he would get executed if he went to that jail. I was going to New York to fight for him. I was going to New York. I was bringing the flags. I was bringing the bullhorn. We were going there. It wouldn't have made a difference, but we were going there to fight, not fight, not, obviously physical, but, with our voices and stuff like that. Like, we fought for Dolly. We got him out of jail. I don't think it would have been the same. But either way, we were going. And then the Supreme Court came forward. And then, of course, we had the Miami rally, which was extremely hot. And but when we went over to the Virginia rally, when we were at the Virginia rally, Pam kept telling me, she's like, and I think I even said that here, there was a lot of officers there. And I remember Pam kept looking at me and says, I think Trump had his life threatened. And I said, why? She goes, look around. She goes, I've never seen so much law enforcement in my life. She said, we got freaking law enforcement in the trees. And I'm like, and so I'm looking around and I'm like, you know what? You're right. We got a lot of law enforcement out here. And when he'd come out, there was like military police type of law enforcement as well. I mean, militaried out, huge guns, the helmets, everything. And I'm like, okay, well, I've definitely never seen that at a rally, right? And so we were just sitting there talking about that in Virginia. And then, of course, Miami was extremely hot. And then this one was the next one. And this is just the one I couldn't go to. I was just in Virginia. I went down to Miami. I had just gotten, Delilah. I didn't want, Delilah's still very young. I don't want her being, having to be babysat by a million different people that I'm on the road. I've got to slow life down just a little bit until she gets a little older. So I decided to skip Pennsylvania. Besides that, I would either have to drive a ton of miles, or I'd have to fly, and I didn't want to spend the money on airfare. I don't like having to do airfare and rental and all that. It just costs too much darn money. So I opted to skip Pennsylvania. That's the only reason why I wasn't there. So this hits home for me, you know, because you never know where we're sitting. I mean, typically we're in the front row, but there's been many times we've been in those side bleachers and in behind, because, you know, every now and again we'll be offered like expedited or VIP. And when we get expedited or VIP, we can go into those bleachers, you know? So it's, I don't know. I don't know. Why are you up so early? Because I rolled over to take little one out. And when I did that, I got right on the internet and started looking to see if the shooter for Trump had been identified. And I couldn't find it. And then it started popping in. I'm thinking, oh gosh, this is going on like right now. They're just now starting to release this. And so it had been released for like 32 minutes before I went live. About the identity of the shooter. So I wanted to get that out since I was already up. I figured I'd just, I don't know, get it out. I'm kind of upset over all of this. I'm starting to pass around some memes though. I got them on Facebook, and it's Donald Trump with his middle finger up saying you missed. I'm sorry I had to, right? We'd be passing around him if it was Biden, but, you know, Biden's already half gone anyways. I don't think anybody pays attention. You know, I'm sorry for those that like Biden, but he's just not there anymore. I mean, we have to acknowledge that Biden, he really should step down in all fairness. I know when I was asked about it, it's like I want him to stay in because it's a surefire win. But after him not even being able to form a complete sentence last night, it's problematic that he's still in office. Like, I really think Kamala just needs to kind of grab, and you guys know me, I don't like that lady at all. But in all fairness, I mean, Biden's not here. He's just not here. He's not clear of mind. And it's really starting to be very, very notable. And I think Kamala I think they need to move, just for the rest of his presidency, they need to move him aside and make Kamala, you know, the president. I really do. I truly don't think Biden's fit to hold office. And I'm not saying that viciously or maliciously in any way, just realistically. And I really do. I think I just think that he's not competent enough to hold that supreme position. Even though I don't like Kamala, I know she knows what day it is, you know? And at the end of the day, we need somebody that can form complete sentences. Kind of, no one likes her. I get it. But you know what? I'm sorry. Biden he's unfit. Okay? In all fairness, he is unfit. No matter whether we like these people or not, we have to have a fit president running this country. He is unfit to hold office right now. He's not mentally there. I really think that, for the sake of our country, you know, anything could get by him. He doesn't know what freaking day it is, I doubt. I'm not lying about that. That last night he only had a few sentences to ramble off, and he couldn't even do it. It's bad. That is the president that cannot possibly be the president of the United States. We've got to have better representation than that. That was embarrassing. So, if you had any family with dementia, it's heartbreaking. I've watched it. I remember my babysitter's mother would get violent at times because she wouldn't know where she was. So I don't know. I think for the sake of our country, I know the elections are only a few months away, but I still fear that Biden just should not be in that position. He just shouldn't be. He should definitely not be the front runner of the Democratic Party. You know, and he won't get out. And we just saw last night he couldn't form complete sentences. So I mean, I fear for our country right now, especially while he's at the helm. I think I would feel a little more comfortable if Kamala took over, as hard as that is for me to spit out of my mouth. You know, as hard as it is for me to spit that out of my mouth. Just give it up, Joe. Oh my God. Just give it up, Joe. And I was going to say go with, because I enjoy retirement. It's on the second line. Never mind. I'll leave it to me. I agree. I don't want her, and I don't want her. Yeah, I don't want her either. But I mean, at the end of the day, she's cognizant, and that's what we need behind the. You know, I mean, Biden literally has like the nuclear codes. He'd forget them. I mean, that's a good thing, right? We wouldn't have to worry about that. But what if we need them? What if we need them? He's like, what are nuclear codes? Biden, they're in their top pocket. What's a pocket? Okay, I should stop. Okay, I should stop. You know, but I just feel a little better. Anyways, I'm going to quit rambling. We've got the guy identified. This was a senseless act. You know, one of our patriots' family. Can you imagine? And this is probably that person's first time at one of these rallies. You know, a lot of these people at these rallies, you know, this is their first time. This is it, and you know, it is an experience. You know, it's not like anything that you've ever seen before. It is one of the coolest things in the world. Everybody loves everybody. You know, we're all sitting around and talking. We're all strangers, but we all have this passion. And it's one of the, you know, seeing the people's faces and the joy on their face, even standing in line for hours, we're all cracking up and joking and, you know, just it's making it as enjoyable as possible. You know, some are better than others. I can agree with that. But it definitely is an experience. But most of these people, it's their first time coming. I mean, my heart breaks that somebody lost their life, but I can't imagine somebody losing their life and it being their first time at a rally and them just having the whole entire experience. Like, Trump goes on last, so they enjoyed their entire day before they were senselessly taken out of this world. And now their family has the grief of that. And we've got 2 other wounded, and these are just normal people like me and you going out. And can you imagine? I can't imagine. And no, I'm not going to sit here and have a gun conversation about it, because I am so sick and tired of people blaming the tool and not the person using the tool. This is the only time we blame an object and not the person. If somebody used a car to run and mow over people, we don't blame the car or the car manufacturer. We blame the person behind the wheel of the car. But somehow, with the propaganda and the narrative always ran, it seems like the gun itself has arms, legs, can walk and talk and shoot itself. And that's not the case. We need to quit blaming the gun and start blaming the person, kind of like we do with everything else. I'm a Second Amendment person. We had a threat, a gun violent threat, and guess what? It was cross gun fire that neutralized that situation. And they say, oh, well, it was Secret Service. They are the ones that should have it. But if they weren't there, it would have to be one of us. Okay? We can't bring those into those types of rallies. We go through metal detectors and a whole host of stuff, right? They have to be the ones that do it at a rally like that. But there's a lot of things like this that happen that aren't at rallies, right? And cops aren't right there. And we don't have snipers on buildings waiting for a threat to come. And at those moments, that's when a bad guy with a gun meets good guy with a gun, right? So I do not believe in gun violence, but I absolutely believe guns are necessary. People don't like that. Again, that's your problem, but I will never be a victim. I will never be a sitting duck. I want to know that I have the ability to keep my pistol on me and the ability to fire it at a threat. Just saying. Because I know that it takes 7 minutes for law enforcement to show up. And things happen like that. So, please come pick your dummy up from the White House. The crap isn't funny anymore. Sorry, not sorry. All right, guys, we'll go rock it out with your coffee beans out. And you know what? At this point, this is what I'm going to say. Let's tone it down. I don't want to hear people screaming at Democrats. I don't want Democrats screaming at Republicans. You know, at this point, what's done is done. We need to realize that the rhetoric has hit the all-time high. People have been incited to do some things for a long amount of time, and it's time to stop. It's time to stop. I hope this unifies the country and says enough's enough. This has gone too far. Their hate has gone too far. Hate is taught. When we're born, we're not born. We're born with nothing but wanting love, right? Think about it. As a baby, we're coddled and held and snuggled, and kind of like what I'm doing to baby Delilah, right? She can do no wrong even when she tears the whole house up and makes my hair stand up, right? But she's so cute, and I love her to death. I'm not kidding. Oh, you want kisses. Oh, she wants kisses. You heard me kiss. Say good morning, everybody. Say hi. My mommy woke me up and got me out. Right? That's what we do to babies. Look at that Gene Simmons. Right? But that's what we do. We love them. They don't know hate. They don't know anything. Right? They just know love. We teach hate. We teach hate. We teach it. So once it's taught, you can't unteach it. That's the problem. It's a taught behavior. We need to stop. We need to take it back. Like, I'm listening to some kids going off, young kids going off, angry that the shooter missed. Angry. Kids angry. Do they not understand? These kids have no value for human life. No value for human life. What if it was their best friend? Would they have value for that person's human life? But because it's somebody they don't like, they wish death upon them? That to me is some sick shit. Excuse my language. It's evil. So if anybody is angry that this shooter missed, you might want to check yourself. Because that's pretty stinking evil. Evil. Not hateful. Evil. Anyways, thanks for hearing me rant about this. I'm not going to be covering this much more. This is not, this is true crime, and this is a crime. This is almost an assassination. This absolutely belongs on this channel. So we will be following it a little bit, but because of the ultra political side of it, it's tough. You know, it puts me in a tough spot because of the situation where we have a true crime channel. And although I am a very political person, I don't want the politics going into this channel because we're here for a common goal. And our common goal predominantly on this channel is to help missing and deceased people and their family. So it's, you know, it's going to be a tough, it's going to be tough to try to balance this because I got to check myself at the door, as you guys know, which I don't mind doing. You know, naturally, I can do it. I've done it. It's just that this is an ultra sensitive topic for me, and because of that, I've got to also keep myself in check. So we'll be rolling out with a little bit, but I don't see me covering this much more than probably another segment on giving us an update of where we're at and stuff like that. So, anyways, guys, God bless you. Take care. We'll see you soon. We'll see you in a few hours. It's already 6 a.m. I'm up. I need to get a cup of coffee, brush my teeth again, right? And then, we'll start with another piece of fudge. This one. Guys, forget with teeth talk. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. Anyways, guys, I'll see you guys in a little bit. I need to get some coffee in me. I haven't had a cup of coffee, and I need to get a shower. So, we'll see you soon.